From the scorching deserts of Afghanistan to the crumbling cityscapes of Syria, all the way to the frozen plains of Eastern Europe, there is one military weapon that has consistently leveled the playing field against overwhelming forces: the Javelin missile system. Military experts agree that it is one of the most consequential weapons in modern warfare, capable of crippling a much larger and better equipped force if adequately used. Intelligent, lethal, and extremely easy to handle, the Javelin has become the bane of armored vehicles, going back to its combat debut in 2003. It takes 30 minutes to teach a soldier to use it, who can then fire the devastating missile and immediately seek cover while the innovative projectile automatically seeks its target. As of today, there is no tank in the world with enough armor to withstand a Javelin strike from above. And as brutal conflicts keep unfolding around the world, the Javelin could become the slingshot in a modern David versus Goliath story. Anti-tank warfare evolution. Big Willie, the world's first tank to see combat, was introduced during World War I, and combatants actively sought ways to destroy it. As tank warfare evolved during World War II, and the true potential of armored warfare was unleashed with the Blitzkrieg, a vast array of anti-tank weaponry was developed to try to even the odds against the moving fortresses. At first, field guns were used to assault tanks. But as these weapons were designed to engage unarmored targets, they proved to be minimally effective against armor plates and had to fire a substantial number of rounds to disable a single tank. Thus, anti-weapon guns with special cone-shaped ammunition were designed, with longer barrels to achieve faster muzzle velocity that could aid the projectile to pierce the heavy steel plates protecting the vehicles. As tanks began to carry heavier armor and ground troops often lacked towed anti-tank guns, shoulder-fired missiles became the norm in every modern military force from World War II onward. However, the groundbreaking shoulder-mounted guns that allowed a single soldier to destroy a tank also had numerous flaws. They were highly inaccurate with medium and long ranges, and they left their operators wholly exposed as they prepared and aimed their weapons. However, tanks would continue to evolve rapidly, and soon, hitting the armored vehicles became even more challenging. They often dashed across the battlefields at significant speed, leaving the anti-tank crews exposed for longer as they desperately attempted to hit them. Targeting moving vehicles was a significant issue, and most anti-tank guns before the 60s became completely useless if fired from any distance over 200 yards. If anti-tank warfare was to keep up with the ever faster and heavier tanks of the 20th century, military engineers would have to develop a way to steer a projectile in the air as it approached its target. A breakthrough would eventually come when the US developed a wired guiding system based on German torpedo prototypes from World War II. The new technology resulted in the creation of the mighty M47 Dragon. The novel shoulder-mounted anti-tank solution allowed the operator to acquire his target, fire, and then steer the missile in mid-air to guarantee a hit even on a moving target. The steering was done via electrical pulses sent to the rocket through long, thin cables connected to the launch position. Warfare was drastically changed as targeting became more reliable, and accuracy rose sharply for American anti-tank crews. However, the wired solution would bring its own set of flaws and shortcomings. First, the operational range was limited by the cable length, and most importantly, the operator had to remain exposed while he steered the missile towards its destination. As such, many operators became casualties as they tried to guide their rocket to its target. Thus, by 1990, the US was ready to develop a new system that didn't just put aside the wires, but also steered the missile on its own. Fire and forget. In August of 1986, 3 major US companies were competing for a $30 million military contract to develop the anti-tank solution for a new generation of warfare. Ford Aerospace submitted a laser beam riding missile. Hughes Aircraft Missile System Group sent a fiber optic cable link design, and Texas Instruments presented an infrared imaging guided missile. After 2 years of extensive and thorough testing, the infrared-guided missile proved to be the safest and most reliable technology, and thus the FGM-148 Javelin was born. The system consists of the rocket, where the most high-tech electronics are packed, the Command Launch Unit, or CLU, which is the visor that allows the operator to lock his target, and the launching tube. What set the technology apart was its ability to be fired and allow the operator to take cover while the missile steered itself following the infrared signature emitted by the target vehicle. The Javelin anti-tank system is deployed and ready to fire in less than 30 seconds, and the reload time is less than 20 seconds on the hands of a trained operator. The missile is inserted into the CLU, and the gunner acquires the target using the sight and placing a cursor box over the vehicle's image. When the system is locked on, the missile is ready to fire, and the gunner does not need to conduct post-launch tracking or missile guidance procedures. After firing, the gunner is free to reposition, take cover, or reload immediately after launch. This so-called fire and forget system is why the Javelin is so brutally effective in guerrilla warfare scenarios. As gunners hide amid the urban areas of the battlefield, they can swiftly disable a tank from up to 3 miles away and immediately hide before the rocket hits the vehicle. However, this effective system is not the only characteristic that makes the Javelin one of a kind. Formidable features. The US and other Western countries have decided to supply many of their allies with thousands of Javelin systems because of another of its remarkable features, its ease of use. Soldiers need only 30 minutes to an hour to learn the basic operations, and many have described the learning process as intuitive and very similar to a video game. The Javelin is also made to keep gunners safe, launching the missile via a soft launch that gently ejects the rocket from the tube without exerting too much recoil on the soldier's shoulder and keeping him a safe distance from the more powerful blast of the second launch. The soft launch not only keeps the operator safe, but also enables easier firing from inside buildings or covered positions. With that said, no amount of safety or accuracy features would make the Javelin what it is if it wasn't for its ability to utterly obliterate any armored threat on the battlefield. Its versatile two-firing mode gives the Javelin its overwhelming dominance over most armored vehicles. It can fire straight ahead like an RPG, or it can be configured to drop on its target from above, directing its payload to the top of the turret, where the tank is the most vulnerable. Some of the most advanced armored vehicles developed in the last decade are fitted with specially designed reactive armor. These cell-arranged plates have an explosive charge sandwiched between two steel plates, and when an armor-piercing projectile impacts the cell, it triggers the plate and destroys the missile before it penetrates the tank. But even such a state-of-the-art defensive system cannot stop the Javelin, which is designed to contain two explosive charges, one to take out the reactive armor during the initial impact, and a second one to detonate as it pierces the tank's primary armor. All things considered, the Javelin is the apex of anti-tank warfare technology. After decades of lagging behind tank evolution, anti-tank weaponry has achieved such a level of complexity that it will take several years for armored vehicles to be able to repel the might of the Javelin missile. Thank you for watching our video. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure to share and subscribe for more exciting warfare-related content. Also, check out our other Dark Documentaries channels and hit the bell icon to be notified of our newest videos. Stay